talk.
Okay. So peace and love, family. Baba and I are over here in the car, riding to get the birds to offer in the forested area. And we're working as a family, brothers and sisters in the spirit. We are people of the cloth, working together collectively to do something to raise a level of light on the planet and to raise a vibration on the planet. So we're inviting in all kind of beautiful angels, light angels. We're inviting in ancestors, powerful ancestors, maroon ancestors, all those that fought for us, all those that continue to fight for us, our very own ancestors, grandmothers and grandfathers, this generation, 7 to 10 to 20 generations back. We call them all in, and we give thanks for this work. Baba, what you got to say about the work? I'm very honored that you called me. Baba called me. I just want to say this. Baba called me, I don't know, many months ago and said, come on, let's get together, let's do some music, and let's do ritual and ceremonial music together. And this is what has been birthed through this conversation. And because we respect each other's divine intelligence, we were able to work together well and create something collective that's good for all of humanity.
Well, what's on my mind this morning as we're doing this rise up, we are making sacrifices to inspire us higher on every level, so that when we take physical action, all of us that's involved in this, when we take physical action, then it will be backed up by metaphysical action.
Yes.
And then, you know, for years I've kind of tapped out of the media because they had the dial set to bad news. But since quarantine, I tapped back in a little bit more. And then yesterday in the United States, they had this story of this young man going into Asian American spas, or spas where the Asian American women and or people work, and I believe killing 8 and shooting more. I haven't really read the story, but I do know that there's been a national trend of attacking Asian Americans, people attacking Asian Americans.
Yes.
And then, you know, for years now, there's been people going missing, indigenous people.
That's right.
Out west.
Right.
In the Dakotas and other places like that.
Mostly
particularly women,
yes,
right?
Same words.
Gone missing. And
yes.
Everybody, you know, you don't hear about this. You don't hear about this. Now, at the same time, we're having instability throughout the entire African diaspora. We can look at what's going on,
yes.
say like, for instance, in our beloved Sierra Leone, Liberia, Mali,
yes.
Nigeria.
Right.
And we see throughout the African diaspora and the places I just named, to me, it's like we're seeing generational dysfunctionality. Some right. without, some from enemy pressure from without, but also from within.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, it's time for this to cease now. Nisi right now. And it's time for us to begin, as a people, to turn over a new leaf. Nisi right now. Right now.
Right.
I'm focused. I'm on the now. So,
absolutely.
You know, you were just telling me your ideas about us propitiating the Iyami, the great mothers.
That's right.
And I like what you were saying. On that one, I'm going to fall back.
That's
and,
right.
you know,
let
the women lead.
Right.
Or be me waju, women in front. But,
yes.
but get back to what you were saying.
Yeah, I would love to talk
about the Iyami.
Yeah, I would love to expound on that, because, you know, the Iyami, our next event that we will have will concentrate on the Iyami, the mothers. We've done 2 events so far, calling in the warriors to fight for us, to fight on our behalf, the warriors and the Maroons.
The healing Bembé for the world.
Yeah, we did the healing Bembé for the world, which is calling in the Orisha forces, the forces of nature, and then we are now doing the rise up for the Maroons. But we talked about the importance of really concentrating on the Iyami and the condition of women in the world, really praying for the elevation of women in the world. We are really concerned about what's happening with the Native American sisters and brothers. We are very, very concerned about what's happening in Africa with the witches' camps. You know, actually arresting or kidnapping or taking away or enslaving traditional healers and practitioners. This is the return of the witches' trials. And really, if we break it down, and we can't have that. So we have to spiritually fight against that. So the next event will be concentrating on the Iyami. The next event will be concentrating on the elevation of women, all women around the world, all nationalities, all people. And we particularly want to invoke the Iyami, all the mothers, Mami Wata, Yemaya, Oya, Oba, Oshun, Mama Chamba, all the different various names, whatever name we say mother in the Hawaiian language, in the Japanese language, in the Senegalese language, in the Akan language, you know, all the different forms of mother, Asasiya, mother. We're talking about the mother, Asasiya, Mother Earth, Mother Mary, Mother of Creation, whichever name you choose. We are uplifting the power of women and praying for greater safety for our women. We give thanks for the men that are rising up to help us have weapons training. But we as priests have to give each other spiritual training, right? Baba's all about the poop,
that's where I'm at with it.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, Baba's all about the poop,
Taking them out.
Yeah, and we need that. As women, we've been very strong.
All my Avalanche Job students and all the women that I took time from my art career to train. I wish somebody would run up on y'all. I want y'all to use everything that we taught you.
That's right. I ain't had the Avalanche training, but I will. Amazon. We just believe that
unite.
Yeah, we must
unleash.
Yeah, we must
empower.
We must have physical strength and power. But as priests, we must gather the forces of our collective power to call upon that power too. So we're asking all y'all to join us in the power of love, in the power of liberation, in the power of elevation for this rise up that we're doing now. And we also ask you to stay tuned because we're going to be doing another event in months to come. We're going to let this energy settle in months to come when it's spring, summer, you know, beautiful sunny time. We're going to invoke the mother.
Yeah, when the time is right.
Whenever the time is right.
We're following our Ori. We're following our Ori, our heads. With this aggression. We reacting to the moment and creating the moment.
Exactly.
So, you know, we didn't plan on doing any of this.
No.
But
we really didn't.
But what y'all don't know is that we've been doing this before we told you about it.
Sure.
And even in between when we've been doing all this public stuff, we've done stuff that we didn't tell you about.
That's right.
That's a
why
fact.
It's a secret
and
society.
We ain't going to tell you about it.
Right.
And we ain't going to tell you about it.
Right.
You know, but this is the public face where you could join in.
That's right.
And the bottom line, the dial is set to victory. The dial is set to winning.
Liberation.
No more victimization.
Nope.
No more no more terms like we are the oppressed. We're not the oppressed.
No.
Allah Niwao, we're the champions.
That's right.
My message to Obirin, to women is that you are divine superpowers.
That's right.
And that's part of the reason why I took time out of my life to train women to fight and whoop ass and kill.
Right.
Which I carry on the tradition of my father, Baba Jesse Jefferson, who always trained, he trained as a coach women in basketball.
Yeah.
Still does to a certain extent, almost right now.
Wow.
In his 80s. And he coached women longer than I've been alive.
Wow.
And I grew up watching him physically encourage women to be empowered, or you know, through physical activity of basketball, when women were not encouraged to do things like that.
Right.
So it's a great joy to see women connect with their true selves, their inner true selves, and their inner true selves as that women, as our men, as all human beings, are divinities.
Absolutely.
We are one with the divine source. And so the days of feeling victimized and terrorized and all like that, right now I'm saying that's over with. I shouldn't talk. It's over. It's done.
It is. It has
to be. Right.
It has to be, because if we don't call on our divine feminine power, then we're really losing sight of our divine destiny here. We don't come here to bow down and to be used and to have guilt and shame and blame and abuse,
beaten around,
and
put in poverty.
Yeah, right. All that. That's not our divine destiny. That's not part of our path at all. As African people, Native people, white people, whoever people, we are not. That is not a part of our human condition. And so we want to liberate ourselves from those things. We also want to be around people that help to encourage us to feel empowered.
Yeah, to be empowered, to rise up to our full potential and live life to the fullest in all aspects, including safety, protection, wealth, good food to eat, resources and power.
Yes.
You know, and I can go on, but
and I also want to speak about the power of our spoken word. You know, we have the power. We are light beings, and we have the power to call health into our cells. We have the power to call light into our lungs, into our breast, into our bones, into our liver, kidneys, brains, everything. And I think that we have to go back to those practices of knowing what our divine power is. Whether that before there was a doctor, lawyer, any of that, there were the spiritual practices, sowing seeds upon the earth, as well as being able to call on our divine light sources, which is inside, to come and help heal us and help us to do that. So we need to remember that we're made of pure energy. And every day I speak life into my brain, I speak life into my eyes, I speak life into my liver, I speak life into my kidneys, I speak life and light into all parts of my body.
I'm going to tell you something.
Very important.
This woman right here says that she was put to the test.
Exactly.
She's been put to the test.
Several times.
Oh, right? Yeah, several times. Right. So,
right.
I want to speak to something.
Yes.
I want to speak to, I hope that we're not making this video entirely too long so that everybody that loves us will talk about us and say we talk too much.
We can chop it up, though.
You know what I'm saying?
We can chop it in parts.
I don't know. I mean, it might not be too long. They might be digging what we're saying.
It's true.
Or they might be flicking to something else on the internet. I don't know what you think. I don't know.
Well, you know, we're going to give them a chance to just have chopped up parts or the access to the whole thing. How about that?
I don't know. But some things are important and they take time.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. I agree.
Some things are important. They take time.
So you wanted to say something, Bob?
Well, we're riding in the bayou right now, which was the stomping grounds of the Maroons. Right. And the Maroons used the blessing of the bayou. Òrìṣà Ayé, Funwa, the bayou.
Yes.
Or what I said is the Mother Earth, the Òrìṣà of the La Naturaleza, gave us the bayou. The bayou took both our, what you might call well, you got three groups at least. You got Africans who came here during colonization. You have Africans or Africans mixed with Asian people who are the Indigenes of this place and been here for umpteen thousands of years. Right. And then you have what they might call people that are Native Americans who kind of fall into that second group, like what I said anyway, but Native Americans who are also here, Choctaw, Natchez, Attakapas, Homas, Opelousas, and all of these people use the bayou to create a barrier for themselves of protection at one point or another from the criminal colonizers.
Right.
So I always feel good when I'm in the bayou. I feel good when I'm in the bayou with the snakes and the alligators and the garfish and the wild hogs and even the black bear. You know, I feel good when I'm out. Try to be in the bayou as much as possible, and you will see how hard of an environment it is, and you will have respect for what the great Cimarrones did. Let me say this, the last thing. People ask me, some people say, well, what is this maroon? There's a brother, I don't know his name now, my students, my JUJU power students and my Yoruba students showed me a brother's video, and the brother was breaking down some very truthful things he said about re-Africanizing Edewa, our language, that a lot of the language is actually heavily influenced by Arabic. He was kind of like cleansing the language. He's the next generation carrying on what was actually started in the generation before me of returning to our African consciousness.
That's it.
And pause it for a second. Just press pause, don't press stop.
This?
Yeah. All right, yeah. So what I want to say is the term, and the term maroon comes from Cimarrones, which is the Spanish colonizers, a bunch of criminal, what you call them, gangs. It was like, you know, criminal gangs of colonizers, and thieves and bandits and all of that they were and are.
Right.
They called kidnapped Africans and indigenous Native Americans, which they called esclavos, slaves. They called them, if they had escaped, they would call them like a runaway vaca. And you know, if you speak Spanish, you know what vaca is, but vaca means cow. And this is where the term, so they would say that our ancestors were like runaway cows.
It's a damn shame.
Cimarrones. This is where the term Cimarrones comes from. Okay?
Ay.
It really means like a runaway cow. That's the what do you call it? That's not the exact translation, but that's the
runaway heifer
connotation.
Yeah,
like a vaca. Right. And so it's like, so that's the name. It's kind of like calling somebody a nigger. Okay.
Yeah.
However, the term flipped in between San Malo and Cecilia, Queen Nani in Jamaica,
right?
The one and only, one of our greatest Egun in Ganga Zumbi in Quilambo in Brazil. It became a term of universal respect and love.
Yes.
I mean, most Afrocentric people, when you hear that, when you hear the word maroon, you know, it just gives you a feeling that's indescribable.
It does.
Right.
You feel very proud.
I think this video is getting real long. We probably ought to wind it up. You mean make it part 1, 2, 3,
yeah, you
whatever?
should edit this.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't press stop then. Well, so basically,
yeah, it shouldn't be this long.
Basically, that's the answer to what is a maroon? Kini maroon.
Right.
It is a person that fled from colonization.
Yeah.
Went to the mountains, they went to the bush, they went to the swamp, wherever they needed to go. And they created their own Quilambo, their own little nation states.
Right.
And never submitted to colonization, slavery, or the machinations of criminals, or the criminal class of people, or the criminal states. What do they call them? Rogue states.
Yes.
They ain't submit to rogue states. Well, you know, this is a journey, and I've come to the conclusion from years ago being a cultural activist, I stopped seeking a solution for every single problem. Right. I just want us to get energized and get up and be on the move. We'll figure it out on the move.
Right. Well, it's really all about our perpetual liberation, you know, whatever we are whatever's put in our souls to do, we should rise up and do that. If it means partnering with other priests and other people, or if you want to do this on your own, please, whatever you're moved to do, we need all hands on deck. Yeah,
bring your gifts to the table. Set it on fire.
Right.
Set the bush on fire.
Yeah, don't be competitive.
However it is you're going to do that. Right.
Yeah, don't be worried about what somebody else doing, or hate what they did it first, or all that is, we don't have time for that.
Right.
It's all hands on deck right now. We need every priest, every praying person, every Christian, every Muslim, every traditional priest, every Hindu, every Buddhist. We need everybody to come together and put every one of your energies on healing this planet. So we greet you with love. We greet you with peace. Nana Sula Spirit, Baba Ṣàngódoyin. We're family. We send greetings from both camps, both families. We are putting our twin power together, brother-sister power together, to make sure that we do this work. Put your twin power, brother-sister power together with people so that we can make this a better place. Ashe.